Folks, one of the things I love doing here at the channel is kind of second guessing some of the preconceived notions that we may have about gear, knives, firearms, whatever. Kind of breaking the mold, if you will, and really helping us to possibly rethink what we've held so firmly for a while. And I believe that's what's about to happen in this video. When we talk about kind of introductory blades to get you into a particular brand of knives, and particularly folders, when it comes to Spyderco, if you're wanting to get into the Spyderco brand and kind of that style of knife, and you like their blade shapes that they do, and you like their thumb hole that they use for deployment, up to this point to kind of get your foot in the door, it's been the Spyderco Tenacious all day long. The knife just has a lot of things going for it. It's right around the $40 price point. You're getting a 4-way directional pocket clip, G10 handles, and a decent introductory steel with HCR13 MOV. Folks, I believe that thought process of the Tenacious kind of being that foot in the door for Spyderco is about to be blown out of the water. I am super excited today to show us the Spyderco Byrd Raven 2 newly designed. Allow me to explain. Up to this point, the Byrd line, which is owned by Spyderco and has kind of been like the redheaded stepchild of the Spyderco family, has really been even lower budget and lower quality than what you would expect on the Tenacious and the Tenacious kind of brothers and sisters like the Reliance and the Persistence. And the Byrd knives were just a step down from anything Spyderco itself was producing. I hope you're prepared to have your mind blown. Allow me to elaborate. As I just said a moment ago, we got 4-way directional pocket clip, G10 handles, HCR13 MOV steel, about 40 bucks. Over here on the Raven 2, we have a 4-way directional pocket clip, G10 handle scales, the exact same blade length, and USA made BD1 tool steel. Price point, $42. $40, $42. HCR13 MOV, BD1. This is a total game changer, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into this head-to-head as we compare both the similarities as well as the differences between these two knives. And I think by the end of this video, you're gonna see that the Spyderco Tenacious has a new arch nemesis in the Byrd Raven 2. Now the blade shapes are slightly different. Your Raven 2 is gonna have a little bit more of a narrower spear point, whereas the Tenacious is gonna have a little bit wider, more leaf shape design. The cutting edge on the Tenacious is 3.3, where the cutting edge on the Raven 2 is going to be 3 inches even, and then it's 3.3 from tip to the handle. Both have full flat grinds. The Tenacious is going to be at about 0.12 or 1/8 of an inch thick for the thickness of the spine back here, and then the Raven 2 is going to be about 0.15, so a little bit thicker, but they both taper down to a very precise tip right away. But folks, that's about where the comparisons end on the blades, because the HCR13 MOV, though a good budget steel and takes a hair-popping edge, will pick up rust rather quickly and does not hold its edge for very long. Whereas this CTS BD1 steel that they have on this knife, now this blade is made in China, right there, but the steel is USA made, and the BD1 steel is extremely rust resistant and is gonna hold a much better edge than the HCR13 MOV. like butter. Though both these knives have a huge capability, not only in EDC tasks, self-defense tasks, but also just wilderness utility tasks, by far the Raven 2 has the Tenacious beat in edge retention, rust resistance, and overall capability. The handles on these guys, though a little bit different, are again so similar. What we have is G10 texturing on the Tenacious, which is a medium grit texturing. You have it at 0.6 on the thickness of the handle itself, pillared out all the way through. This is gonna weigh in because they do mill out the liners, which is gonna really lighten this thing up in comparison to some other folders out there, and this thing's gonna weigh in at 4.1 ounces. The overall length as well is 4.4 inches, and when you open it up, feels comfortable in the hand. I wear large size gloves. You can see there, fills out my hand well. Good jimping right there. Pretty aggressive ramp though, with pretty aggressive jimping. And the pocket clip is a little obtuse, I guess would be the word. And so you are gonna kind of feel it if you are really gripping hard on the knife, but it does give you good traction for either stabbing and more, self-defense tactical tasks if you know how to handle a knife in that capacity, or your EDC utility tasks. Either way, it's gonna fit great in most hands. Now the Byrd is exactly the same G10 texturing, feels exactly the same. The thickness on it is gonna be exactly the same at 0.6 inches in your pocket, which is great. You're gonna get an overall length from front to back of just a micro longer at 4.5 inches from front to back. Same thing, you got pillaring flow through construction, milled out liners as you can see, which again is gonna make this weight where the Tenacious was 4.1 ounces, 4.2 ounces for the Raven 2. Now for me, the difference though comes down to the feel. They've definitely cut out and kind of narrowed out the neck on the Raven 2, flared out the back, kind of giving you a pinky rest back here. So when I'm holding the knife like this, you can see I still have plenty of room out the back, again with my large size hands. A less aggressive thumb ramp, which I prefer. I'm not huge into thumb ramps. The Tenacious is much more abrupt, and the Tenacious is gonna have much more aggressive jimping. As you can see here, where the Tenacious is more aggressive and larger, the Raven 2 actually is more Spyderco-esque, and this is going to be the exact same jimping lines and spacing that you would see on most Spydercos, whereas this is not what you're going to see on most Spydercos. So in this natural grip like this, I got to tell you, this feels a little bit more comfortable than the Tenacious. It's just a little bit more contoured, not quite as blocky. Then on top of that, they give us this finger choil, so you can choke up and you can get really aggressive in your finer cutting tasks. Some of you like finger choils, some of you don't, so it depends. That will have an effect on which item you purchase, but this is going to give you great grip. Again, that pocket clip is going to be a little obnoxious and a little obtuse in your hand, but you just got to deal with it, and that's what you get with a lot of pocket knives. But you're going to hold that great in that capacity, just in your normal hammer grip, even in a reverse stabbing tactical grip. It's going to feel great, give you a huge amount of traction. You're not going to be worried about hopping up and cutting yourself, and then again, that choil to be able to choke up and get your more aggressive, finer cutting tasks done. So between the two, I like the ergos on the Raven more. Now you're about to see a few differences in the deployment, lockup, and bushings that these two knives are rocking. The Raven 2, because it is a Byrd model, has that Byrd beaked hole, so it's the exact same hole dimensions that you would get on any Spyderco, but then they bring this notch in a little bit further. Doesn't hurt the deployment, doesn't help the deployment, it's just to show that it's not a full-on Spyderco, it's a Byrd model, but that makes it very easy, right or left-handed, to put your thumb in there and flick that thing open. For most people, either you love it or you hate it. Exact same thing here on the Tenacious. Flick that guy open, flies right open. Now you can see that this liner lock is fantastic. They got that little set of jimping right there that's going to be easy for me to disengage if I need to. And it hits right there down the center of the blade, 50% of the blade, which is great. Haven't had any sort of flexing on that or jamming too far to the right or to the left, which is great. Just hits dead center every time. And again, probably had thousands of opens and closes at this point on this blade and haven't had a single time where it's floated too far right or left. And very solid for a liner lock. Its thickness is 0.06, which is going to be exactly the same on the Tenacious. There you have it, exact same setup. Again, 0.06 on the thickness. It's going to hit right there, a little bit further to the left, but still fully on the back spine of the folder. Again, never had a Tenacious fail on me. Very strong, and again, very easy for you to disengage when it's time for you to close it up. Now, the one area where I can tell a little bit of a difference and that I feel like the Tenacious has a little bit of a leg up are in the bushings. The bushings that this guy has, and I don't know if you can see them in there, are bronze bushings in there. So it's going to be super smooth and very durable with its overall deployment. On the other hand, we have Teflon or nylon bushings here on the Byrd, and I feel like that's the only area on this knife where they kind of skimped, and I would have really liked to see the bronze bushings on there. It's still very smooth and very slick in its opening, but I can tell that the Tenacious does have just a little less resistance when you are flicking open the blade compared to this Raven 2. So they did skimp on the bushings for this blade. The pocket clips are exactly the same. Only difference, the Tenacious will have the Spyderco logo engraved, the Raven will not. Other than that, folks, these are literally carbon copies of each other. They are the exact same strength, which is a good upgrade for the Raven and the Byrd line. So the old ones were a little flexy. The only problem that I have with both of these knives is that not only is the satin finish really flashy, and they are rather large pocket clips, but both knives ride rather high in the pocket. It makes it very easy for you to pinch and grab, but it is a little obnoxious. I would have liked to see just a little bit deeper ride on both of these knives. When we're talking about fit and finish, these guys even are almost carbon copies of each other in that sense as well. As you can see, there's a slight float to the right. That's because of the liner lock pushing against the blade and the blade slightly floating to the right. And that happens the exact same distance on both of these. And we've had these for several months now, the Tenacious for over a year. Neither one of them has floated more than what they came out of the box with this slight kick to the right of the lining up of the blade in the handle. So folks, bottom line is this. When I compare my Tenacious to the Raven 2, there's really no competition. Not only do I see a huge performance difference with the two steels with this BD1, but I just like the blade shape better. It connects with me. I like the option of the finger choil, and I like the more ergonomic handle feel for about $2 more. Ultimately, it's your decision on which knife better connects with you, but I hope in this video, if nothing else, I've really helped you rethink your concept of what's the best $40 Spyderco designed knife to jump into and purchase. For me, this Raven 2 just gets it done on every level, and at $40, it's kind of a mind-blowing steal. So you guys know what my opinion is. Ultimately, this video, I hope, has helped you out with your opinion. As always, check us out on all the relevant social media. Links are in the description below. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. And as always, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.